Hi everyone, it's Felicity, Janine and Jen here. We decided to do another summary and wrap up of what happened in today's group because we know not everybody can always make the time, and we want to just capture the information that we talked about in the group. So we started today with a discussion around with the restrictions now easing with COVID-19. A lot of people are facing for the first time how they handle maybe relatives or friends wanting to visit the baby, hold the baby, kiss the baby. So we talked about that, about how we set boundaries around families and friends within the limits of what you feel comfortable with. So one of the things that I suggested was it's okay to have your hand sanitizer at the door. It's okay to set some boundaries around, I don't want my baby picked up when they're sleeping, or no cuddles, or yes, you can cuddle, but no kisses. And it's really about what works for you based on the information and who it is that's visiting. But it really is the beginnings of parenting, and it's the beginning of advocating for your child. So we kind of just wanted to reiterate that it gets, well, for Felicity, it didn't get easier. For me, it got easier with every baby. So at first I found it really hard to tell people what I needed. But by the time I had my fourth, it was much easier to say, get your fingers out of my baby's mouth, for example.
Yeah.
So that was...
I think having the, for me, what got easier was having the conversation before,
Yes.
So preemptive. Yeah.
Yes. So we did, we sort of decided it was preempt it. It's okay to tell people before they come, this is how we're doing things. And we kind of touched on how, because of COVID-19, there's so much more information out there and people are more aware of hygiene. And I think no one is going to blink if you say no holding or you must wash your hands. Whereas 10 years ago, people maybe weren't as aware.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a good change for parents. And we also talked about setting a boundary around your needs. So it's okay, even with visitors in your house, as Janine suggested, it's okay to excuse yourself and say, I'm just going to go feed the baby in another room, for example.
Yeah. If you feel like it's been long enough and you're just not, even if you're just not comfortable feeding in front of anybody else, then removing yourself, just saying, I'm just going to go and feed now. And as Jen was saying, if you don't re-emerge, that's fine too.
Yeah, you can just fall asleep in there.
Yeah.
So that was kind of that. And then we had a few questions around, one of them was breastfeeding, and without going into too much detail, the outcome of the advice that we sort of gave based on that was, when you are going to hospital and you are learning how to breastfeed, especially for the first time, it's definitely okay to ring that buzzer at every feed. That's what you're there for. And Felicity and Janine, who've both worked in the space, were reiterating that midwives love to help. So it's totally okay. We sort of said it's good to give them warning. So if you know a feed's coming up in 20 or 30 minutes, ring that buzzer and give them that notice so they can be there and you can be really ready for that feed. And was that it with breastfeeding?
Yeah, some people don't stay in hospital terribly long as well. So if you're going to be going home really early, seek as much support as you can for feeding once you're home as well.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're struggling. Pardon?
I was saying, trust your gut. If you feel like it's not right, it doesn't feel right, even if somebody's saying, oh, that latch looks great, then
if it doesn't feel great for you, it's not.
Yeah.
And that's something I always say too, if you're not feeling, by the time you're heading home from hospital, whether that's a quick stay or a longer stay, if you are not feeling that breastfeeding is where you wanted it to be, get in a lactation consultant and get some help, because you're often going to get 2 hours. It can be the best money you spend. And I was saying I did it for every baby, even though I'd fed before, because every baby's different. And getting that help of an outside set of eyes that look at that latch and give you that advice on another way to think of the problem, it can really help when you can't see it as clearly yourself.
Yep.
And then finally, we just sort of raised the question of what do you wish you knew before you had a baby, or what you would tell yourself.
I told you, yeah.
Yeah. So we just discussed that, and that was a really great conversation. And then that led us into talking about what we're going to cover in upcoming groups. We are definitely in the works with getting a tummy time session going on. We are really keen to do a session on solids and when to introduce solids and how to do it. And we're going to get an expert in for that as well. And we also want to do something on, I guess we've talked a lot about that first trimester, the first 12 weeks, not first trimester, fourth trimester. But we want to talk about what happens after that. How do you start connecting, playing, feeding, and looking at the beginnings of routine with your baby from 12 weeks onwards. So that will be the next thing we're looking into for you guys. And if there's anything else you want us to cover, let us know. And in the meantime, we hope you all have beautiful weeks. Thanks very much. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.